Circumcision was painful, physically painful. A lot of pain and a lot of crying and tears, I'm sure, in Abraham's household that night. What about baptism? Is that painful? Well, I don't think it's too painful physically, is it? Especially not in our nice heated pool here. If the water's really cold, maybe a little bit. But it can be costly. It can be costly to get baptized. Probably much more costly in the first days of Christianity. It could get you kicked out of the temple. It identified you with Jesus, this rebel, revolutionary Jesus. And it would get you kicked out of the temple. And even in the early days of this church, over 200 years ago, I might have told you this before, it could get you kind of humiliated to be baptized, because people weren't baptized here, they were baptized over there in the river. And it was cold, I'm sure, in public. And people would gather along the banks. You can read all about it here, actually, in this story of the Bow Baptist Church for the first 150 years. There's a good little story here. It's very readable. And there's a great story about how in July 1786, people came and they gathered on the bridges, on the riverbanks. Some even hired out a room from the local, it's Ye Olde Bow Tavern, the old Bow Tavern. And they could overlook the river so that they could see these strange people gathering to be dunked under the water. And there was abuse being hurled at them. I don't think they threw anything else, but they threw abuse at them. It was a tough thing to do. There was a cost involved for these funny Baptists. And I think even today some people avoid it. I've spoken to one or two folks who are hesitant or reluctant because they think they might be a little bit embarrassed. You know, not humiliated, but embarrassed. Or their family might be embarrassed if they are to be baptized. Perhaps they've been baptized as a baby and they think, ooh, this could cause trouble in my family. So there's no blood involved, but there can be some cost. I would encourage you to think about it if you're a believer. Actually, not just to think about it, but to do it. To obey. Obedience was what was called for.